blessed to be here today with all of you ladies. I feel your heartbeats. That's what we have in common, regardless of our trying to be peacocks all the time. I feel like that sometimes in the fashion world, you know, being a girl and trying to dress up and feel good. It's not always about how you are on the outside, so I taught myself to write something about my feelings, and I met Don. So I got this book. I'm going to read a little something about when I was on tour with the Ebony Fashion Fair. I hope you all know what that is. It's a big deal because, you know, 10 girls in a bus traveling around America for the first time doing fashion shows. I ran into some wonderful people, but I'm just going to read this little not so happy scene because it's Black History Month and we're all out there marching to keep our sanity. So I will read this. The next day we left for Florida and ventured into the deep South, starting with New Orleans. Mom and I spent the whole day together, seeing the sights and eating shrimp gumbo. My purple miniskirt seemed to attract quite a bit of attention from the menfolk, not all of it positive. The style, which was all the rage up in the north, evidently hadn't made it to Louisiana just yet. That night, after the show, all the other girls went out to the jazz clubs, but I was underage. I was only 15, and had to stay back at the hotel. So I just stood on the balcony of our room, which faced Bourbon Street, basking in the muggy night air and soaking up all the sounds that drifted up from the streets below. I was close enough that it was the next best thing to listening to the musicians in person. The following morning, from that same balcony, I watched a funeral pass by with its wagon putting a casket covered in multicolored flowers, trailed by a parade of trumpet players and mourners, swinging to the beat, dancing at a funeral, I thought. What kind of crazy town is this? I would have liked to stay longer, but Baton Rouge was next on our crowded docket, and then it was on to Jackson, Mississippi. I love that word, Mississippi, M-I-S-S-I, S-S-I, P-P-I. I used to jump rope to it. The fashion fair was weighed towards the southern states. We went to 9 in all and skipped most of the central states. We were often traveling through the night in the most rural parts of Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Arkansas, en route to our shows in Montgomery, Columbus, Greenville, Chattanooga, and Little Rock. I asked Mom if she was happy to be back in the land where she grew up, but she just shrugged. I got the feeling there wasn't a lot of love lost between her and the South. One night, in the middle of God knows where, the girls were all asleep on the Hound, which is what we called our bus, and some stretched out across the seats, some sitting straight up and nodding, others leaning on each other, drooling. In the back, the wardrobe ladies were snoring heavily. In truth, we resembled nothing so much as hamsters sleeping in a cage, huddled in between the blankets, newspapers, magazines, and crumpled potato chip bags. We ate a lot of potato chips on that tour. Light gradually broke, and Ben, our bus driver, greeted us with his perky, wide-awake voice. "Good morning, ladies, time for breakfast." He pulled into an almost shabby, hidden-looking diner off the detour dirt road we'd been traveling on. Ben, Albert, and a few of the girls practically sleepwalked their way out of the bus. Mom told me to go ahead with Joanna and Peggy while she tried to wake up the wardrobe ladies. All 3 of us needed to use the ladies' room, so we followed the signs and walked around to the side of the diner. We found a small, dirty wooden shack with a padlock on the rotten door. I pulled on the handle, but the door would not budge. Just then, a big, lumpish man with a blotchy red skin appeared out of nowhere and stuck his huge tattooed arm across the shack's entrance. He pointed to a hand-lettered sign over the door, half hidden by overgrown weeds, that read, "Whites Only." Peggy, whose skin was a pale olive color, was from Italy and was relatively new to America, so it took her a moment to figure out what the sign meant. She sounded out in her cute Italian accent, It says, whites only. What does it mean? The big guy said just what it says. Your nigger friend here has to go round to the outhouse. We don't want no coloreds filthying up our toilets. This place is an outhouse, I thought, and it's the filthiest ones I'd ever seen. Peggy didn't absorb what the man was telling us at first, but when she did, she got really angry. What are you saying, mister? She asked, putting her face right up next to his. The girl was fearless. The man pointed to her and then to me and said, you two can use the toilet, but your colored friend here has to go out back. He gestured to Joanna and then to the bushes, which presumably held an outhouse somewhere among them, though I shudder to think what it might look like if this dilapidated shack was the nice toilet. Peggy lifted her head, straightened her shoulders, and said hauntingly, if my friend can't go in there, I'm not going either. Suit yourself, he said. Joanna was yanking on her sleeve as if to say, let's just go. But Peggy even got gustier and said, excuse me, I'm going in there, my friends are coming too. She locked arms with Joanna and me, but the man just sneered at us, spat on the ground, and stood with his arms crossed, blocking the door. He didn't hear me. I said, we don't allow no niggers in here. It was time to get the hell out of there. Never mind the Civil Rights Act of 1964, signed just 2 years earlier by President Lyndon Johnson, had outlawed the Jim Crow segregation once and for all. I could smell the alcohol in the guy's breath and could see his decaying teeth, cracked and brown probably from chewing too much tobacco. He was wearing a hunter's vest loaded with bullets. Somehow he didn't seem like the type who'd be persuaded by legal arguments. I looked around and noticed one of the other models running to the bus. I tugged on Joanna's arm and we started putting Peggy with us. As we approached the diner, Irma ran up to us and said, come on, there's trouble in there, we've got to leave. We reached the bus and banged on the door. Mom pulled the lever and we all scrambled into our seats. What's wrong? She asked. But before anyone could answer, the other models were rapping at the bus door to be let in. I opened it as fast as I could and they burst into the door and they said they wouldn't serve us. They told us we had to leave. Where's Ben? Mom asked, her head swirling around. We had to find him. I'll get him, I said. No, Mom yelled, and then said more gently, you stay here. Then we all saw Albert and Ben rushing to the hound from the opposite directions, and Albert got in looking distraught and disabled, and Ben followed a step behind, and the wardrobe ladies finally woke up along with Dave and George, and Ben was just about to get off and check to make sure the doors to the luggage compartment were firmly closed, and when he saw several of the men coming from the diner marching towards us, 3 of them were carrying rifles, and Ben quickly changed his mind, hopped into the driver's seat and closed the doors fast. And he started up the motor, but it didn't catch, and Ben called out, ladies, I believe we've just run into a pack of Ku Klux Klan boys, and I have a pretty bad feeling, so stay seated and hold on. And the girls started to scream, and Ben tried to start the bus, but don't panic, he said, stay in your seats and pray. And there were about 10 men now, and they seemed to be rising out of the earth itself, and what with the early morning fog and the overgrown, untamed landscape, the bloodhounds appeared out of the mist, and it was exactly like something from a horror movie, except it was real. Mom, what's happening to us? I whispered, my voice breaking in fear. Her face wore an expression I'd never seen before, a rigid mask of ice-cold anger. This is what happens when you're in the deep South, she said, and you run into people who don't like Negroes. Ben was talking to the bus like it was a horse. Come on, Nellie, don't fail me now. He kept pumping his foot in the gas pedal and again, trying to get the motor to turn over, trying to force it with the key. And he's going to flood the engine, Mom muttered, sounding desperate. One of the rednecks decided to pound on the side of the bus, and he shouted out, this is a good catch of niggers. He got more and more worked up, pounding harder and harder, and his posse hooted and shouted and stuff like, yes sirree, we're going to have a party with some of this nigger tail here. And one of them pressed his face up against the window, and he looked wild and glassy-eyed, and I shuddered. Keep your heads down. Don't let them see your faces, Ben shouted, sounding scared and really, really angry. They're like a pack of wolves, hungry wolves. We were scrunched down in our seats and some of us on the floor in the aisle, and I didn't dare even lift my head. The next sound was the sweetest I'd heard in many a moon, that of the motor riffing up. I let out a breath. I hadn't realized I was halting. And as we peeled out of there, I couldn't resist a tiny peek out the window. In the quickly receding distance, I saw a hateful, distorted face screaming something that, thankfully, I no longer could hear. We figured we'd been for the worst, and for a while it seemed we had it. The hound rolled it on, and I got personal on-the-ground lessons in the U.S. geography. That was the best possible supplement to my textbook. From Atlanta, we made our way north to Illinois, and in Chicago I went on shopping spree to end all shopping sprees buying a fantastically expensive silver leather coat with a silver dress and silver go-go boots to match. And it was great to be back in the big north, through the city and after city, arriving in Little Rock, Arkansas, just in time for Thanksgiving. I had no particular preconceptions of Little Rock, though I vaguely remember being a little girl and watching Mom and my Auntie Helen cheer as a newscaster on our tiny black and white television talked about the Little Rock Nine. Mom had explained that they were 9 angry protesters carrying picket signs just to enroll at an all-white high school. It seemed like a very long time ago. The native northerner that I was, and despite our recent near disaster, I never even considered the possibility that racial animosity could still be a problem in Arkansas. Our hotel, the Little Rock Landmark, looked like something prosperous plantation owner would have built. The exterior featured immense columns and a spacious porch with high back wooden rocking chairs lined up in rows surrounding the mansion on all sides. It was a perfect flower garden that was still in full bloom. The interior had dark, polished wooden floors and creaked when you walked in them, and 19th century furniture buffed to a high gloss. I felt I had stepped back in time just being there, but I reminded myself that if I were actually back in that time, my family wouldn't have been living in the big house. More likely, we would have been in the slave quarters. Teresa and I decided to walk into town, which was just down the hill from the hotel. At 19, Teresa was the model closest to me in age, thin yet curvy with green eyes and sandy-colored hair. She was a dark-skinned knockout. She and I liked to sit in the front seat and joke with Ben, or simply watch quietly out the window as America unfolded its gorgeous landscapes. Somewhere between Florida and Kentucky, we'd taken to calling ourselves sisters. It was a perfectly sunny day with birds chirping and warm air ruffling our skirts. We were both in high spirits because there were only 13 cities left on the tour. Definitely something to be thankful for on this day of giving thanks. We didn't have a show that night, and we were going to celebrate Thanksgiving with a big dinner back at the hotel. When we got to the main street, to downtown, it was deserted. All the stores were closed because of the holiday. Only a few young men stood together in the corner smoking cigarettes. Teresa and I walked past them silently. They shout at us and giving us dirty looks and saying things, anything. And then one of them started to laugh really loud and pointed at us. Before Teresa and I knew what was going on, we had 4 guys following us and hurling horrible racial slurs at us. "Hey you, what kind of colored girls are you?" one of them said to Teresa. Another said, "Why son, I believe she's some kind of nigger." The 2 of us walked bravely on, ignoring them. They wouldn't be deterred. "Don't you hear us talking to you, you half-coon or whatever you are?" Another shouted as all 4 of them stepped in front of us, forming a human barricade. One of them leaned in close to me and said, "Hey, you white girl, what you doing with that colored trash?" I stayed calm to figure out an appropriate response. We were clearly outnumbered, and now the guys were circling us. What kind of people act like this, I thought. Why are they so nasty? What can I do to change their minds? Did I mention that I was a native northerner? I smiled, my nicest smile, but the boys just narrowed their eyes and started again. Teresa and I exchanged looks and silently agreed that we should go back to the hotel. We turned around and one of the guys pinched Teresa on the rear and another picked up a rock, and when I saw that, I yelled, "Run!" We took off like lightning, and as rock after rock sailed through the air, accompanied by such charming phrases as, "You go, go, you no good nigger whores." And we ran so fast that my vision got blurry, but luckily we missed getting hit except for one rock that grazed Teresa's arm, and by the time we got to the hotel, it seemed so much further away than it had on the way down to town. And we were both crying, and Teresa's arm was bleeding, and we didn't tell anyone what had happened. Not even my mother, who was off with the wardrobe ladies in their sewing circle, getting the clothes ready for the next day's show. Maybe we should have said something considering what happened that night. I'd never been away from home on Thanksgiving, but Mom was my only real family, so home was wherever she was. And she was with me, and the table was decked out with cut flowers and several polished silver candelabras, and the eye-popping spread of classic American food. 3 enormous roasted turkeys with all the trimmings, from cornbread to collard greens and pecan stuffing, sweet potato pie and cranberry sauce. Oh, where once the whole crew got dressed up and sat down together at the same table for dinner, and we bowed our heads in Albert lettuce and saying grace. One second. Our prayers were interrupted by shouts just outside the dining room. We paused for a moment. I figured it was some sort of holiday celebration, but we were all too hungry and too excited for our meal to spend much time wondering what the ruckus was. Never had so many people made so much fuss over a lousy turkey drumstick. Then our peaceful evening was shattered, literally. A huge rock came crashing through the window of the dining room, sending shards of glass bouncing all over the polished wood floor. We were speechless. Then we saw flames outside the window. My God. Were the trees on fire? Our group became very still. Should we try to find out what was happening or ignore it or go on eating our dinner? Then we heard the words, "Niggers, go home," boomed out as if from a megaphone. It became a chant, a drone that filled the air and sped through the walls like a toxic gas. One by one, we stood up from the table and cautiously went over to the window to see what was going on. I was clutching Mom's hand, and I pushed the curtain aside and looked out on a sight I had never witnessed before and hoped to never witness again. Parked in the garden at the foot of our hotel's entrance was what looked like the entire local chapter of the Ku Klux Klan. Holding lit torches and white masks covering their entire faces except for 2 eerie dark holes that their eyes peered out of. Their cone heads tilted back as they moved towards the hotel in unison like a blob of maggots. I was certain they'd be upon us in minutes. Then as quickly as they appeared, they were gone. It was almost as if we'd hallucinated them, except that they left us a little souvenir. Albert picked up the rock, which had cruelly printed on it a note attached to it with a rubber band. He read the note silently, shaking his head, then passed it to one of the wardrobe ladies. "What does it say?" Ben asked. She handed it to him and Ben read it aloud. "No niggers allowed in our historic buildings. Get out of town." There was a collective gasp from the group. There was no point in trying to salvage the evening. We were too frazzled to eat and scared that we might be murdered in the night. So we all went back to our rooms and hastily packed our bags. The hotel manager was distraught and tried to talk to us, saying to stay. He wanted us to stay. He was a liberal with lofty ideas about changing the world through integration. But the Klan had threatened him too, and our being there could mean broken windows, more of them, or worse, I suspected. He was secretly relieved when we insisted on leaving immediately. After canceling the next day's shows, Albert and Ben to go out, and they started up the bus. And so we boarded on our big silver Greyhound for the yet another all-night ride, and this time to Dallas. Great, I thought grimly. That's the place where President Kennedy was shot. Our grand adventure had taken a gloomy turn. Thank you.